Hello and good night. Welcome to another bedtime story. This story is meant to help you sleep or to relax your mind. Try and find a comfortable place, such as your bed or a soft chair. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes now. Try and let go of the day as we begin our tale. Tonight's story is The 12 Dancing Princesses. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by deep forests and shimmering lakes, there lived a king who had 12 beautiful daughters. These princesses were his pride and joy, and each of them was more graceful and charming than the last. They lived in a grand palace, and their bedrooms were all in a long, elegant hall, secured every night by heavy locks. Despite the king's precautions, a mystery plagued the palace that no one could solve. Every morning, the princesses' shoes were found worn out as if they had been dancing all night long. The king was baffled. He questioned his daughters, but they only smiled and said they had no idea how their shoes became so tattered. Determined to uncover the truth, the king issued a royal decree. Anyone who could discover where the princesses went at night would be rewarded with their choice of one of the princesses' hands in marriage and a place in the kingdom. However, if the suitor failed after 3 nights of trying, he would forfeit his life. Many princes and noblemen from far and wide came to take up the challenge. Each one was granted a room near the princess's hall and provided with food and drink fit for a king. But every morning they awoke to find the princess's shoes just as worn as before, and not a single one of them could explain the mystery. After their 3 nights were up, they faced the grim consequences of their failure. One day, a poor but brave soldier named Michael arrived in the kingdom. He had been discharged from the army and was wandering through the land with nothing but his wits and a few coins in his pocket. On his way, he encountered an old woman sitting by the roadside. She appeared frail, but had a wise, kind face. Sensing his troubles, she asked, "Where are you headed, young man?" Michael told her about the king's decree and the mystery of the 12 dancing princesses. The old woman listened intently and then handed him a small cloak. "This is a cloak of invisibility," she said. "Use it wisely, for it will help you to discover the secret of the princesses. But beware, you must not drink anything they offer you." Michael thanked her and set off for the palace. When he arrived, he presented himself to the king and declared his intention to solve the mystery. The king, though skeptical, allowed him to try. That evening, Michael was given a comfortable room near the princess's chambers. Before dinner, the eldest princess, Princess Annabelle, brought him a goblet of wine. Remembering the old woman's warning, Michael pretended to drink, but secretly poured the wine into a nearby plant. When the time came for the princesses to retire for the night, Michael wrapped himself in the cloak of invisibility and followed them to their chambers. From his hiding spot, he watched as the 12 sisters, dressed in their finest gowns and adored themselves with jewels. They looked as if they were preparing for a grand ball. At midnight, Princess Annabel clapped her hands, and a secret door in the floor opened. One by one, the princesses descended a hidden staircase, giggling and whispering excitedly. Michael slipped through the door behind them, careful to remain silent. The staircase spiraled downward for what seemed like forever, until it opened into an enchanting underground world. Trees were made of silver, gold, and diamonds, their leaves shimmering in the soft glow of lanterns. Michael was awestruck, but kept his focus on the princesses. He broke off a small branch from each type of tree as proof of his journey. The path led to a lake where 12 boats awaited, each manned by a handsome prince. The princesses stepped into the boats, laughing and chatting with their escorts, and were ferried across the water to a magnificent palace. Music floated through the air, and inside a grand ballroom awaited. The princesses danced with their princess, their movements so graceful it seemed as if they were gliding on air. Michael watched from the shadows, taking care not to be seen. The princesses danced until their shoes were worn through, and only then did they return to the boats and began their journey back. Michael followed them, retracing his steps up the secret staircase and slipping back into his room just as the sun began to rise. The next morning, the princesses were surprised to see Michael alive and well. Princess Annabel, in particular, seemed uneasy. When the king summoned Michael and asked if he had solved the mystery, Michael replied, "Your Majesty, I have discovered the truth. Last night, your daughters traveled to an underground palace where they danced with 12 princes until their shoes were worn through." The king was astonished. "Can you prove this?" he asked. Michael presented the branches he had taken from the silver, gold, and diamond trees as evidence. The king called for his daughters, who could not deny the truth. Princess Annabel confessed, explaining that they had been enchanted by the princes and compelled to dance with them every night. As a reward for his bravery and cleverness, Michael was given the choice of one of the princesses to marry. Though all the sisters were lovely, he chose Princess Lily, whose kindness and gentle heart had touched him deeply. The king kept his promise, and Michael and Lily were married in a grand ceremony that united the kingdom in celebration. As for the enchanted princes, their spell was broken, and they returned to their own realm, leaving the princesses free from their nightly compulsion. And so, the mystery of the 12 dancing princesses became a tale passed down through generations, a reminder of the courage and resourcefulness that can unravel even the most magical of secrets. And the princesses and Michael lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed the tale tonight. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more audiobooks and tales to come. Until next time.